What is up, guys? Mauni here from MauGT, back again with another video. Just wanted to drop a quick little video for you guys, something I've kind of been interested in doing for a little while now. Before we jump into this video, however, I just want to say I'm super sorry for not pushing out my iPhone XS video. That video was supposed to drop pretty much like a month ago. I was hyping up on Twitter saying that this video is going to be great, guys. It's going to be one of the best videos I've ever done. And I wasn't able to get it out. I was having quite a few laptop issues with this baby. All my YouTube stuff, editing, everything is done off of this laptop right here, which is what this video is about, and we'll get to that in a second. But I was having some pretty bad battery issues, some really weird software issues. Everything, for the most part, is fixed, and now I should be able to edit my video with no ease, or with ease, and that should be uploaded, hopefully, if, I can make sure that all my schoolwork is done and everything. That video should be uploaded by or at least before Thanksgiving break, at least before or by Thanksgiving break. Now, let's talk about this computer and get into what this video is. So a little bit of background first. This is a Lenovo ThinkPad E455 or Edge 455, whatever you want to call it. I was previously using a Lenovo IdeaPad 110. That was the computer that was bought specifically for me. This used to be my sister's laptop, but when she upgraded to a newer laptop, I got this one because it's a little better than the IdeaPad, much more durable, has more USB ports, and I like the overall design, fit, and finish of this package, of this laptop. It came with Windows 7 Professional, and we did the free upgrade to Windows 10, as you know, that was being offered. And so when I got the laptop, I was using it on Windows 10. There were some driver issues, so I had to use an external Wi-Fi adapter, but otherwise everything was working perfectly fine. Then I decided, hey, I want to run Linux on this. I haven't used Linux in a while, so I said, hey, I'm going to run Linux on this. And if you don't know what Linux is, hopefully you do, but if you don't, I'll leave some stuff in the description below that you can read about. Basically, Linux is an open source operating system that you can run on any computer. It's completely free. You can even run it on some phones with enough hard work. And it's a pretty great operating system. It works pretty much just like Windows. You have the user interface, pretty much everything that Windows has. But for the past few months, even though I still have Windows installed on this laptop, for the past few months I have been gravitating towards using Linux for my everyday tasks and anything that I need to use this computer for. So in today's video, we're going to go over the 5 reasons why you should use Linux and why I am currently using Linux. Let's go ahead and get started. So this is the lock screen of my setup. This may change depending on the window manager that you're using. I happen to be using KDE, and that is one of my favorite things about Linux. This isn't necessarily on the list. This just happens to be something that I really like. Windows is one look. There's one default look, and that's the way Windows will look for the rest of your life. You can't change that. However, with Linux, you can install different window managers. So if I want my desktop to look a specific way, I can install a different window manager. If I want my desktop to look like a Mac, I can install a different window manager. So you can really customize the look of your particular laptop and really make it completely different from not only just people who are running Windows on their laptops, but people who are running Linux on their laptops. Chances are, if you take 2 people who are running Linux on their devices, on their laptops, their computers, whatever, you put them side by side, their setups are going to be totally and completely different. Now, to the official list, number 1 on my list is performance. Ever since I dual booted Linux and Windows onto this laptop, I have been having a ton of issues with Windows. From stability issues to performance issues, it's just been really slow. When I boot my laptop into Linux, it's so much faster. Chrome runs a lot better. Programs and applications use much less memory. The entire system runs a lot smoother, and in some cases, even cooler. Now, one of the main reasons that I dual booted Linux onto this laptop wasn't just because I hadn't used Linux in a while. It's because when I go to school and I use this laptop, for some reason, as soon as I connect to my school Wi-Fi with my laptop blue screens. And this is a continuous blue screen, of course, running Windows 10. It will just constantly blue screen and reboot to the point where my computer is unusable, and the only way I can use my computer at school is if I don't connect to the Wi-Fi. Obviously, a lot of the things that I do in school are Wi-Fi dependent, so I really do need a computer that I can take to school. Everything works fine. And this is a great computer. It's super light, it's not too heavy, fits in my bag. But those Windows issues that were plaguing my laptop were terrible. So that's one of the reasons why I dual booted Linux on this, and I've had no issues. It works perfectly on my school network, and in some cases, a lot of cases, it's much faster than the school computers and laptops that everyone else is using. So performance and stability are one of the biggest reasons, or two of the biggest reasons, why I use Linux on a day-to-day basis. That's not to say that I don't use Windows anymore, which I do, and we'll get to that at the end of the video. But for most activities, day-to-day, I do use Linux. In terms of performance and stability, it's really superior. Battery life. Battery life is another thing that is one of the main reasons why I tend to gravitate towards Linux. When I'm running this computer in Windows, I don't get the best battery life. Now, this computer is kind of old, and it doesn't get very good battery life to begin with. I even recently replaced the battery in this computer, and while it does hold a little more of a charge than it did before the battery replacement, it still really isn't that great. But what I have found is that whatever it is, this is Fedora Linux, by the way, whatever it is in Fedora, it's managing the battery a lot better than it is in Windows. And you would think with Lenovo putting in their own drivers for, the way their batteries work, you would think that maybe Windows would be a little bit better optimized. But I don't know what it is about the battery management here in Linux, but it is much, much better than the battery management, at least for me, in Windows with this particular laptop. So this says right there in the bottom right corner, let's go ahead and zoom into that I should be able to run on this for about 2 hours and 47 minutes. I believe that. In Windows at 93%, which is what my battery is at right now, Windows would be telling me right now that I could probably get maybe an hour and a half of battery life, and that's really not great. Obviously, 2 hours and 47 minutes for a laptop isn't great either, but I'm getting probably twice the battery life in Linux than I would be getting in Windows, and that's a huge advantage because that means I don't always have to stay plugged in to the charger. Also, when it comes to battery, for some reason, this happened even with the original battery that came with the laptop. For some reason, Windows seems to think that my laptop is dying when it's not, so I'll be in the middle of doing some important work, typing up an essay for school, maybe even editing a video one time, and my laptop will, for some reason, think that it's dying on Windows, only on Windows. The laptop will shut off, and I have to hold down the power button to completely turn it off, and then reboot the entire computer just to get it back up and running. That's another stability-related issue that is really, really annoying, but it also ties in with the battery. Battery management and the battery in general is just much, much better on Linux. Next is the command line. Now, if you're just the average user, you probably don't know what the command line is. And if you are just an average user, having access to a command line probably won't really make a difference for you, but it does for me. So there's a command line in pretty much every computer operating system. It's in Windows, it's in Mac OS, and it is here in Linux. And here in Linux, is probably where you'll be able to take the most advantage of the command line. I can update my entire system, browse my files, even code programs right from this screen right here. And, one second, when you are managing Android devices, trying to root them, way out of focus here. This works great for fast boot and ADB commands, and you don't even have to install any drivers whatsoever. The command line offers a slew of different options to help you really take advantage of your system. This is more of a power user feature, but it's still something that I find extremely useful, and while I don't use it every day, it's there when I need it, and it just works, and it's perfect, and I love it. Now, next up is Linux, and this kind of ties in with everything that I've just been talking about. With Linux, you're essentially building your experience from scratch. Instead of letting Microsoft and Windows pick what they think is best for you, you can install your own drivers. You can customize the way your display works. You can customize how Windows adapts to your, or not Windows, how Linux adapts to your specific hardware. It offers an experience that Windows just doesn't offer. While you're not going to be able to run all the same apps and programs that you would normally be able to run in a traditional Windows setup, there are very good ways to get around those things, and once you get around those things, using Linux on a day-to-day basis is, at least in my case and in my experience, a much better experience than what you're going to get a lot of times with Windows. You hear about all of these different updates that Windows is, causing issues on devices. It's deleting files, disabling sound cards, blue screening devices. All of those issues are not present with Linux. I haven't had a single driver issue. I haven't had any crashing issues. Because of the open source nature of Linux, anybody can go in, find a bug, and fix it, submit it. The updates will roll through, and your issue will be fixed thanks to a large community of people using Linux. This open source support simply isn't available on Windows, which is what makes it inferior in a way to Linux. Now, this video comes down to one of my favorite reasons why I use Linux instead of Windows. And this isn't really a Linux thing, this is more of a KDE specific thing, which is the window manager that I'm using. KDE Plasma is what I'm using, and that is KDE Connect. So, as you guys know, I use an Android device. I use an HTC 10. Hopefully I will get an upgrade very soon, but as of right now, I use an HTC 10. I will always use an Android device. Windows, despite their efforts, does not have very good phone integration. However, with Linux and KDE Connect, which is found right here in my toolbar, there are so many different things that I can do with KDE Connect that I would have to download so many different apps and services and frameworks and all this sort of stuff to get the same integration that I'm getting with KDE Connect on Windows. So to make KDE Connect work, all you have to do is, once you install Linux and you use the KDE window manager, there are just a couple of things you have to do to set it up, and you can see that all my notifications are starting to pop up here because I just re-enabled notification access, and we'll go through all that in just a second. But if we go here and we type in KDE Connect and we click on it, you can see it says connect and sync your devices. Now, as far as I know, this only works with Android devices. I don't know if the app is available for download on an iPhone. If you happen to know, let me know. But you just download the app on your phone. I'll show you what it looks like. So you just download the KDE app. Let me turn down my brightness here. The KDE Connect app. It has a, let's see here. What is the rating for this? I gave it 5 stars because I thought it was incredible. Looks like, is this in beta? It is in beta. Oh, it's not. No. Okay. So right here is the rating, 4.8 stars, and that's no surprise. It works flawlessly. 100,000 downloads, so you know a lot of people use it. And it does work flawlessly. It does everything that it says it will do. I will admit that there are some hiccups here and there, some connection issues. It does go over Wi-Fi and not Bluetooth, so some network settings may not work particularly well with KDE Connect. But when I'm using it, it works perfectly fine, and I've never had any issues with it. So, again, this is what the app icon looks like right there. So if we go ahead and tap on KDE Connect, we'll let that focus. You can see I have named my laptop Mouse Laptop right there, and it recognizes my device right there as Mouse HTC 10. So from here, there are a number of different things. I can send files, I can do a presentation remote, media control, remote input, and I can even run commands from my phone and run them on my computer. So if we go to remote input, I can drag my finger on the screen, and as you can see, it controls the mouse. And there's very little latency, and this is all working over Wi-Fi, not Bluetooth. So I can tap to click, and you can see all the available functions that KDE Connect can handle with your device. I can even type using the keyboard on my phone. So I can just type in random letters and stuff, and everything works perfectly. So let's go ahead and look at the laptop part, or the computer part, I guess, of KDE Connect here. We're going to zoom out. So this is kind of what I would call the KDE Connect hub. So this is where you manage the phone pretty much. Let's go and pan down here. Bloop. So as you can see, I just got a Twitter notification, and it popped up right here on the bottom. So from this screen, we can see a few different things. So you can see that the device is named here, and I'm pretty sure if I had more than one device, it would also show those here. But you can see it says 40% charging. So it gives you constant battery life updates. So as you can see, it just changed to 41 there, and I'm on 41%, and I am charging. It also shows me a list of all of my notifications that haven't been cleared. And if I had, say, a Hangouts message, a text message, even emails, I can reply to just by clicking that button, and I can reply to emails if I so choose to do so. That's grammar, yep. So I can see all of my notifications, and say I want to clear a notification, but I don't want to do it from my phone for whatever reason. You can see it does even Snapchat notifications. So, for example, this Google Fit notification. So it says that I've earned my Move Minutes for today. So if we find that Move Minutes notification here, right here, see if I can get both of these in frame. So there is the notification on my phone. If we go over here and we click the X, it clears the notification from my phone. And I can go here at the top, hit this X by the notifications button. All my notifications are cleared. Now there are some notifications that don't get cleared, like Google Assistant reminders, Google app stuff, downloads in Chrome, and obviously persistent notifications will always remain there. But for the most part, all your notifications will be completely cleared. I can even find my device by ringing it, and it should make a sound, but it's not, which is weird. because usually it makes a sound, but I can find my phone with KDE Connect, and that's part of what I was saying where usually everything works flawlessly, but sometimes there are certain things that don't always work too well. Now, I can even send files from my phone to my laptop, and this is all through one app. I actually used this earlier today when I was studying for a world history quiz. So I found a chapter outline for the book that we're using in class. So when I hit send file, I can tap on the file, and you see in my notification it says sent file to Mao's laptop. I go over here into my files, zoom out here. I go over here into my files, I go to downloads, I scroll down, and there it is. Stearns chapter 9 was the file that I sent over, and it's right there. Now it even syncs the clipboard from my phone to my laptop. So let's just type in Mao GT, just like that, right? So we're gonna hold on that, and we're gonna hit copy. Now let's say, for whatever reason, I don't know who Mao GT is. Who is Mao GT? Let's find out. So I go in here, and maybe I forgot how to spell Mao GT, but I remember, oh wait, I copied it on my phone. I simply go down here in the clipboard section. You can see clipboard contents, Mao GT. I click on it. We go up here into our address bar in Chrome. Backspace that. I hit Control V. It pastes Mao GT, and I can do a Google search for Mao GT. All my Mao GT stuff comes up. And that's how the clipboard integration works. So there are several different really cool features that KDE Connect offered that Windows simply doesn't. I can even browse files, browse my phone's entire file system from my laptop. Now this, I will admit, doesn't always work. As you can see, it brought up an error there. But what I have found is that this is actually really useful in times where I want to transfer pictures and things that I wouldn't normally be able to do. So that is pretty much why I use Linux on a day-to-day basis. The main reason is my phone integration, but with all of the other advantages that Linux offers over Windows, it makes it a great operating system for me to use on a day-to-day basis. Now, what do I still use Windows for? I still play most of my games in Windows, like FIFA, American Truck Simulator, any game that I want to play. I typically tend to gravitate towards Windows. While I could run them in Wine, which is a Windows emulator for Linux, it lets you run Windows programs in Linux, there's very sketchy support for Windows applications, and so it's just a lot better and a lot simpler to run all of those things in Windows. Also, you've got Windows exclusive programs, you've got Microsoft's Word and Office suite that is also exclusive to Windows, or exclusive in the sense that it obviously can't be used on Linux. It's really just the vast number of applications that aren't supported on Linux that obviously are supported on Windows, and that is why for a long time I will probably keep a Windows installation on my laptop, but most of the time I do use Windows. Not Windows, Linux. So that's it for this video, guys. Wanted to do a different kind of video. I will have my iPhone XS video out very soon. I will try to edit it this weekend and push it out to you guys hopefully by next week, end of next week, middle of next week. I have to do some voiceovers and I have to add in some more clips, but I'm pretty close to being done, so hopefully I can put that video out for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy that one. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. I hope you guys have a great day, and peace out.